Hi, Nayarit. I'm so thankful for you to take out the time to share your experience of what it's been like working with us here at the Abundant Accountant. I know that you've started with us. It's probably been almost a year and a half now ago.
Correct.
And I would love it if you can just share where is your firm located and what do you specialize in before we dive into some questions so you can share your experience with other firm owners that might be terrified and scared to make a change in their firm and also not even realize that they have a sales challenge in their firm. So, where are you at in the country and what does your firm specialize in?
Perfect. Yes, I'm Nayarit Briseno. My firm is located in Miramar, Florida. We are specializing in tax advisory, tax planning, and scaling businesses from what they are into the next level. And we've been doing compliance for so many years, but we understand that we need to gear the firm for, the next level to help our clients to strive.
Awesome.
And we've been doing this since I enrolled this program.
Yeah,
So
I love that. So, why don't you share what were things like in your firm before we met as it related to the sales challenges you had, especially with your community of people that I know you had a hard time charging more because everyone expected things for free. So, what were things like in your firm as it related to your sales challenges?
before this program, our main sales challenge was competing with prices among the area that I'm in. And it's because here in South Florida, there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff, but they don't have the education and the preparation and the experience we could offer to our clients. So we were very shy. We didn't know where we were until we enrolled this program. This program was a life-changing situation because your main thing was focusing first on understand and know our own value.
Mhm.
And most of the time, we cannot face or fix the challenges on sales when you don't know your own value.
Right.
So the first wake up call we had enrolling in this program was understanding that the value of your experience, you can transform it and translate it into the cost of your services.
Yeah.
And that is the main thing that distinguishes you from other professionals.
Totally. And I think that's one of the biggest things that a firm owner needs to learn before you can even get into pricing. But before we get into all of that, what do you feel was the biggest problem that you had personally? Like that you said, I need to make a change. Like, were you burnt out, overwhelmed? Do you have a lack of joy for the work that you were doing?
All of the
Were you
above.
working too many hours? You didn't have enough money. Like, what was the thing and how did you feel back then?
Back then, I start feeling unappreciated and burned out because everybody wants to take, but nobody wants to give. And I stopped, with that program, finally, I could say stop. And I start like creating boundaries as well
With working with us,
with
right?
working with you.
Yeah.
Yes. I
So,
mean,
Nari, what was the moment you decided to enroll and do something about this? You said, okay, I need Michelle and their help. I can no longer continue going this way. What was that moment in your head where you said, enough is enough? I need to make a change? Because I think there's other firm owners out there, especially, maybe South Florida or just the different communities that are getting, beat up on price or like you said, your clients just take, and there's no one giving, right?
correct.
What was that time where you said, I need to do something about this?
I feel like 2 years ago when I enrolled the program, I said, you know what, enough is enough. I need somebody who guide me through the process to understand what the things I have to change in order to strive my own practice.
Hmm.
And I start, browsing in Instagram and I saw your ad and, I started looking on it and I started looking on it and then I decided to call. And that's why when I got a call from Molly,
Yes.
which was wonderful when we started talking and she started to guide me through the process and I said, you know what, this is what I need to
Yeah.
start giving a gear and in my practice towards the better.
Yeah, so when you saw our ad, and I'm sure you got a lot of other ads after that,
Absolutely,
what was
absolutely.
your main concern or what were you looking for when you were evaluating our coaching program versus everyone else that probably you saw out there? Like, what made this coaching program say, this is going to work for me versus all the other coaching programs?
Basically, because you were focusing on teaching professionals like I am how to promote their own values,
Yeah.
and translate it into income.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was my main focus. I said, you know what? Other than other, coaching programs, I think that I need to go and focus on this because if I don't understand how to start getting pricing and value myself and how to translate it into dollars, I cannot do anything else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's true. And that's part of the art of enrollment or sales. But I don't think many firm owners, and maybe you can share a little bit, like, did you think you had a sales problem before?
I did, yes.
Okay, you did. Okay,
Big
cool.
time. The thing
Yeah.
is that I never understand about the pricing of the services because there's so many people doing the same thing.
Yes.
But your program specifically helped me out to understand my value and then translate that value to make a differential factor
Yes.
of doing my pricing and hence the sales that I'm doing right now.
Wonderful. That's
And it helped me out not only to increase my sales, but increase the quality of clients I'm taking in.
yep. Yep. And have a way to qualify them too. So I'm curious, Nari, if you could share with other firm owners that might be considering enrolling in our 8-week sales mastery course. They maybe saw the ad on Facebook or Instagram or listened to our podcast just like you. What were your initial skepticisms or fears that you had about enrolling in our program? Like, what were those objections that you had, like, before you said, I'm just going to do this? I'm going to take my firm to the next level. I'm going to make the investment. I'm going to spend the time. Can you share a little bit about what those initial skepticisms and fears were?
I got a lot of questions before enrolling when I talked to Molly, and I said, you know what? Sometimes it's easier for somebody who's not inside of my, you know, turmoil
Right.
to tell me how to do things. But I need to start like following some path in order to make my house in order.
Yes.
And I said, it's now or never, because I need to start from something. And you were offering the initial steps that I was looking for me to start organizing my firm from inside out.
Yeah.
And that was very important because I think that for many firm owners like myself, the most important thing is to know your value. And that's what you teach. The first thing you teach is that. If you don't know your value, you cannot increase your prices, you cannot get a target clients, you cannot do anything else. Your sales are not going to be the same if you don't know your value.
Yeah.
And the first time that I sit down with Molly with the first exercise that says, okay, you need to quantify everything that you've been investing in yourself, in your knowledge, and in your firm to know exactly how much you're worth.
Yeah.
And in my case, was close to $7 million.
Yeah. No,
And that was a wake up call.
I
That was a
I
huge
love it.
wake up call.
And that was the
Yep,
foundation of everything that you created. So
totally.
go back in time and tell your younger self before we met or before you saw our Instagram ad, what would you say to your younger self about this program and how it's been life changing for you? To share with another firm owner that might need to hear it because they're like you. They saw an ad and they're like, oh, well, this sounds like me, but there's so many other programs. Maybe this is a scam. I don't know. Like they have all these skepticisms. What would you say to your younger self?
I will say stop, breathe, and make the investment. It's worth it.
Mhm.
Because the thing is that unless you understand the path you want to build, and when we are young, we do not understand that.
Yeah.
But if you start understanding the path you want to build in and the path you want to, cross by, the rest, it will be very easy to
Yeah.
achieve.
Yeah. So before we wrap it up, what would you say are your biggest wins or biggest victories that you've had in the last year and a half going through the program, being in our ongoing coaching? What are some of the financial milestones or changes that you've seen just in your revenue, your pricing, you know, less clients? What is it that you would love to share with other firm owners as a result of implementing everything that you've learned?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that for the first time in my life, I hit $1 million sales last year. And not only that I hit that amount, it was a huge milestone. I couldn't even believe it until I saw my books. But the best thing I can get from this program is not the financial wins, is the non-financial wins, is the learning process of knowing the value, knowing exactly the client that you're going to be working with, and feeling that you can build a team that it can fulfill all this
Yeah.
based of what you learned through the program.
Yeah. I love it.
So,
Thank you. And how
no,
do you
thank you.
feel now? Because I think you wanted to spend more time with your family, and there were some other
Yes.
non-financial wins that you had. If you could share some of those on the personal side that you've experienced, and also just share, how do you feel now?
Well, I feel more confident because I know exactly where I want to go. And I have my son, I have an only one, I have just one son, and he's in 11th grade. He's a junior in high school. And we have to start touring colleges right now and universities. So I feel like with this and organizing the firm that I've been organizing, the way that I've been organizing in the past 2 years, it's allowing me to get the freedom of, taking the time that I need when I need it.
Yeah.
And
Freedom and flexibility of true
absolutely,
entrepreneurship.
absolutely, yes. And the other thing that you have to learn is how to build teams and delegate. And in case of solo professionals, sometimes it's very difficult to let go. But that's another thing that is an add-on for your program is that you need to know how to build teams and delegate.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though it's not in the modules, but it's part of the coaching calls. And I've been looking at a lot of people saying the same thing. Oh, I hire an assistant,
Yeah.
after so many years, or oh, I build a team of another analyst or another, CPA, and now I can have more time for yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that is very important.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing. It's been an honor to watch your growth and, hit the $1 million mark, but also have the freedom and flexibility to go tour colleges or do whatever you want on the personal side. So, Nari, what would you tell someone who is really serious about taking their firm to the next level? What's the one last thing you would love to share with them that you wish you would have heard maybe in one of these videos 2 years ago?
I will say that you have to start knowing your value and enrolling in this program. That's the way to go. Enrolling in this program is going to open the door for so many other things that you can do to grow and get your firm to the next level. But enroll the program. It's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I can't wait to see your growth even more.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I really appreciate your time and your knowledge. I appreciate it.